Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. It's Dr. Nasser Mahmood here, and today we're looking at a classical histological slide of a lymph node. If you learn to recognize a few features, identifying a lymph node becomes really straightforward. Now let's walk through the important structures step by step. Every lymph node is surrounded by a thin fibrous capsule. This capsule is made mainly of fibroblasts and collagen fibers, forming a protective outer layer around the organ. Just beneath this capsule is an important space called the subcapsular sinus. This subcapsular sinus is a channel that receives incoming lymphatic vessels, also called afferent lymphatics. Lymph fluid enters the lymph node through these vessels and first flows into the sinus. From here, the sinus system continues deeper into the lymph node. From the capsule, strands of connective tissue extend inwards. These are called trabeculae. Along the sides of these trabeculae, the subcapsular sinus continues as trabecular sinuses, carrying lymph deeper into the node. These structures divide the lymph node into compartments containing lymphoid follicles. The cortex of the lymph nodes contains lymphoid follicles, also called lymphoid nodules. A common feature here is that the secondary lymphoid follicle contains a germinal center in the middle and a darker ring of lymphocytes surrounding it. The germinal center contains activated lymphocytes undergoing proliferation, while the outer darker region contains more densely packed lymphocytes. Importantly, however, the lymphoid follicles are only found in the cortex of the lymph node. That's very important to know. Deeper in the lymph node is the medulla. This region looks different from the cortex because it contains a medullary sinus, which is lighter spaces where lymph flows, and medullary cords, which are darker strands of lymphoid tissue. The medullary cords contain large number of lymphocytes, along with some plasma cells and macrophages. Most of the cells you see in the lymph node are lymphocytes. However, you may also see macrophages, slightly larger cells with more vascular nuclei, plasma cells, which are antibody-producing cells, and fibroblasts and collagen fibers within the trabeculae. In fact, roughly 99% of cells in the normal lymph node are lymphocytes. Around the lymph node, you may see thin vessels without visible blood cells are often lymphatic vessels. Most lymphatic vessels enter lymph nodes are efferent vessels, bringing lymph into the node. Typically, there is only one major efferent lymphatic vessel that carries filtered lymph away. Unlike the tonsil though, a lymph node should not contain epithelium. So if epithelium cells are seen within the lymph node, this can be a warning for metastatic carcinoma. So in summary, to recognize a lymph node histologically, look for these key features: a fibrous capsule, a subcapsular sinus, tuberculi extending inwards, lymphoid follicles in the cortex, medullary sinuses and medullary cords in the medulla, and a predominance of lymphocytes. Once you recognize this pattern, identifying a lymph node becomes pretty straightforward. Now, that's the classical histological slide of a lymph node. Let's move on to the next slide.